Hey everyone, welcome back to Tuki Games. Today we diving into something what's been raising a lot of eyebrows in the gaming world. CD Projekt Red, the beloved developers behind the Witcher series and Cyberpunk 2077, seem to be under some serious external pressure. And no, it's not just about game delays or bugs this time. We're talking about corporate influence, specifically BlackRock, a $9 trillion investment giant what has its hands in many industries, including gaming. Recent reports suggest what CDPR may be behind to BlackRock's demands to push a particular agenda. But the real question is, at what cost? Are Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4 in danger of losing the creative magic what made them iconic? Let's break down everything we know about this situation, how it might affect the games, and whether or not CDPR is at risk of alienating its core fans. First, let's talk about CD Projekt Red's incredible journey. This is a studio what was once hailed as a champion of gaming-first development, earning massive goodwill with titles like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It wasn't just the deep storytelling, expansive worlds, or well-crafted gameplay what captured our hearts. It was the studio's philosophy. They were the good guys in an industry increasingly seen as predatory with microtransactions, half-finished releases, and corporate meddling. But fast forward to 2020, and things took a sharp turn with the release of Cyberpunk 2077. The hype was unreal, but the launch was a disaster. Plagued by bugs, performance issues, and broken promises, CDPR's reputation took a massive hit. They've worked hard to repair some of the damage with updates and patches, but many fans still feel betrayed. And now, with the looming influence of BlackRock, things could go from bad to worse. So, who is BlackRock and why are they relevant to this story? BlackRock is one of the largest asset management firms in the world, controlling trillions of dollars in investments across a wide array of industries, from energy to technology, and yes, gaming. When BlackRock invests in a company, it often pushes that company to align with certain environmental, social, and governance (ESG) standards. While ESG might sound like a good thing, encouraging corporate responsibility, this concern what this focus can sometimes sideline creative or business decisions in favor of hitting these external metrics. In CDPR's case, the fear is what they bend into BlackRock's agenda, at the expense of what made their games great. We're talking about decisions what could fundamentally alter the storytelling, world building, and design philosophy of their most anticipated upcoming titles, Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4. But why would CDPR bow to such pressure? To understand that, we need to consider the financial pressures CDPR has been under since the Cyberpunk 2077 fiasco. The company faced massive backlash, lawsuits, and significant financial hits following the game's botched launch. The immediate fallout led to a nosedive in CDPR's stock value, losing the studio millions and shaking investor confidence. It's not uncommon for large firms like BlackRock to invest in struggling companies, but such investments often come with expectations. When BlackRock buys a stake, they expect certain changes, usually involving policies that align with their broader ESG goals. And given the financial hits CDPR took post-Cyberpunk, we're in a vulnerable position where pleasing investors might take priority over maintaining creative control. The concern here is what CDPR, in an effort to secure financial stability, may start prioritizing the needs of their investors over the desires of their fanbase. And that's where things get really complicated. But this isn't just a CDPR problem. BlackRock has been increasing its presence in the gaming industry for years. They've invested in our major gaming companies, and with what comes a shift in how these companies operate. BlackRock's emphasis on ESG initiatives means that games could become more about checking certain boxes rather than delivering groundbreaking, player-first experiences. In the case of Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4, the fear is what we could see a shift away from the gritty, immersive storytelling CDPR is known for. Instead, we could get games that feel sanitized or watered down, designed to appeal to a broader, more inclusive audience. Now, inclusivity in gaming isn't inherently bad. Diversity in characters, stories, and perspectives can make a game more enriching. But when those decisions are driven by external corporate pressures rather than creative freedom, it's easy to see how the heart and soul of project can be lost. And make no mistake, BlackRock has the power to push these changes. As one of the world's most powerful investors, they can effectively shape the direction of any company they invest in. And with CDPR still recovering from the Cyberpunk backlash, they might not have the leverage to push back. Let's talk specifically about the upcoming titles. The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk 2 are two of the most anticipated games in development right now. Fans have been eagerly awaiting news, and both franchises are massive pillars of CDPR's identity. But what happens when the development process is no longer guided solely by creative vision? For The Witcher 4, a lot is riding on whether CDPR can recapture the magic of The Witcher 3. The Witcher series is known for its morally complex storytelling, rich world building, and characters who operate in shades of grey. However, with BlackRock potentially influencing key decisions, we could see a game that loses that edge, where character motivations are simplified and the narrative is shaped more by modern sensibilities than the complex, often dark fantasy world what fans have come to love. Similarly, Cyberpunk 2 faces significant risks. After the catastrophic launch of the first game, fans are understandably wary. CDPR has to prove what they've learned from their mistakes, but if the sequel is shaped by investor demands rather than creative integrity, it's hard to see how they will back their audience. What fans want is a bold, uncompromising vision of the future, something that challenges them, pushes boundaries, and delivers of the promises what we made with the original Cyberpunk 2077. But instead, we could end up with a game that feels safe, sanitized, and focused more on marketability when pushing the envelope. Another major red flag is the internal turmoil reportedly happening at CDPR. Insider reports suggest that key developers have left the studio, frustrated with the direction things are heading. These departures are believed to be tied to the push of diversity initiatives, which are seen by some as taking priority over the creative process. The loss of these key developers could have a significant impact on the quality of Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4. These are the people responsible for the gameplay mechanics, storytelling, and overall design what made The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 the iconic franchises they are. Without them, it's unclear whether CDPR can maintain the same level of quality. The gaming community isn't taking these developments lightly. After the disaster of Cyberpunk 2077, fans have become more skeptical of CDPR than ever before. Social media is filled with discussions about whether the studio can be trusted to deliver on its promises, and with the growing influence of BlackRock, many fear what CDPR's best days are behind them. We've already seen some backlash over recent decisions, with many longtime fans expressing concern that the studio is losing its way. The core of this issue is trust. CDPR once had it, but after Cyberpunk 2077, that trust was severely damaged. If they can deliver with Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4, it could be the final nail in the coffin for their reputation. CDPR is at a critical juncture. They have two massive franchises in development, both of which have the potential to shape the future of the studio. But with BlackRock's influence, internal struggles, and the fanbase that's growing increasingly worry, the stakes have never been higher. If Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4 fail to live up to expectations, it could have lasting consequences for CDPR's place in the gaming industry. once hailed as one of the most creative and player-friendly studios. They now face the very real possibility of being seen as just another company what caved to corporate interests. But it doesn't have to end that way. CDPR has a chance to prove what they can balance the demands of investors with the creative vision, what made them great. The question is, will they take it? To warp things up, CD Projekt Red is facing more than just development challenges. They grappling with the very essence of what made them a beloved studio. The influence of BlackRock and the pressure to conform to corporate agendas could fundamentally change the way they approach game development. But the future isn't set in stone. The success or failure of Cyberpunk 2 and The Witcher 4 will determine the future of CDPR, and fans are watching closely. Will they stay true to their roots, or will they become another casualty of corporate influence? Only time will tell. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is CDPR making the right move? Or are they in danger of losing everything what made them special? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the gaming world. This is Tuki Games, and we'll catch you in the next video.